There's a weight that we don't like to talk about. And it's not the weight of what other people have done to us, but it's actually the weight of what we've done to ourselves. You know what I mean? The mistakes that keep replaying in your mind. The things you should have said, but you didn't. The things that you shouldn't have said, but you said them. The moments where you wish you had been stronger, smarter, kinder. But maybe it's even deeper than that. Maybe you're having a hard time forgiving yourself because you were betrayed, because you were manipulated or abused. And now you blame yourself for not seeing it sooner. Maybe you don't even know that that's what you're doing, but there's a quiet self-cruelty that no one else can hear. And so if you've ever thought, I should have known better, I can't believe I let that happen, this is for you, because there's something you need to understand. Forgiving is not about forgetting what happened. It's about finally letting yourself breathe again. So let's talk about it. Why does self-forgiveness feel so impossible? Let's be real. We are often harsher on ourselves than anyone else ever could be. We're also harder on ourselves than we are to other people. Somebody asked me, they were like, are you a patient person? And I'm like, I'm a pretty patient person so long as it's somebody else. If it's me, I'm pretty hard on myself. I can forgive most people pretty quick, but I still have a hard time forgiving myself. And that's because when somebody else hurts us, we have somebody to blame. We can put it somewhere. It's their fault. But what happens when we hurt ourselves? There's nowhere to run, no one else to hold accountable. And so we do the worst thing possible. We hold on to our pain, we turn it into a prison. We hold on to guilt as if it's a form of justice. The brain does this thing that's fascinating. When we feel guilt and shame, it activates the same neural circuits as physical pain. Meaning what? When you dwell on your past mistakes, your brain relives those mistakes over and over as if they're happening every single day. Your subconscious doesn't really have a concept of the passage of time. Things that happened 10 years ago, if you haven't healed or processed, they can still feel like they're happening right now. And this is why shame is so sticky. It makes us feel like we're doing something by punishing ourselves, but in reality, it only keeps the wound open. So let me ask you something. If you saw a child who had just made a mistake, would you scream at them? Would you be ashamed of them? Would you tell them that they were worthless? Would you make them suffer for years just so that they learn their lesson? No. If you're a normal human being, you're not going to treat a child who makes a mistake that way. They're just a kid. But for whatever reason, we do this to ourselves. Because here's the thing. Shame doesn't teach. Shame is not a good teacher. Shame is not a good motivator. It only corrodes the soul. It will hurt you. It makes you feel like I'm bad because of my mistakes. Psychologists point to two primary types of self-forgiveness that need to happen. One is moral self-forgiveness, and that is the more obvious, right? That's when you did something wrong and you need to make peace with it. The other one is a little more complicated, and that is survivor's guilt self-forgiveness. That's when something happened to you, but you still blame yourself. The first one makes more sense. If we hurt somebody, we feel bad. And honestly, that's kind of a good thing because it means we have a conscience. But where people get stuck is this. They think that self-forgiveness means saying, what I did was okay. I'm giving myself a pass. No consequence, no nothing. I'm good. No, that's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is saying, what I did wasn't okay, but I will no longer punish myself endlessly for it. Now, the second kind of self-forgiveness, that one's a little more tricky. Survivor's guilt shows up in strange ways. It sounds something like, I should have known better, I should have fought back, I should have been stronger, I should have been faster, smarter, and we can't go back. We can't change the past. We feel stuck, like the only thing left to do is suffer. I don't know that it's that melodramatic. It's not like you're just like, okay, I'm gonna suffer now. But the truth is, you're judging yourself from the perspective of who you are now and not who you were then. Hindsight gives us wisdom, but it also gives us unfair expectations. The version of you back then didn't have the knowledge, the strength, or the awareness that you have now. In Hawaiian tradition, there's a powerful prayer of forgiveness. It's called Ho'oponopono. I really hope that I'm pronouncing that right because I've been saying it for years to all of my clients and teaching them, and if I'm saying it wrong, oh my goodness, please forgive me. But it's a simple phrase. Ho'oponopono basically states, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And this is something that you can use to make restitution with a spouse, with a partner, with a relationship, or a friend. But what happens when you say these words to yourself? I want you to try something. This is an exercise I do with my clients all the time, and I love it. It's something I do with myself all the time. I want you to take a second. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to picture yourself at the age that you were when you made whatever the mistake is that you're struggling to forgive yourself for. right? And maybe you need to take some time to be introspective and write down, this is what I'm having a hard time forgiving myself for. This is why I'm upset. This is what I did or didn't do. This is why I'm wrong and why I'm upset, right? So that you have a clear understanding of what that is. Then I want you to close your eyes, like I said, picture yourself at the age when you made said mistake, see yourself, right? The younger you, and this might be a 5-year-old, this might be a 2-year-old, this might be you from a year and a half ago, right? But I want you to see them. Maybe they're scared, maybe they feel ashamed, and I want you to say this to them, I'm sorry. And you can fill in the blank, but you can say, I'm sorry for being so hard on you. I'm sorry for being angry. I'm sorry for blaming you for all of the issues that I've had for the last several years, whatever it might be. I'm sorry, then fill in the blank. Then say, please forgive me. Again, fill in the blank. Please forgive me for holding on to this pain for so long. Please forgive me for being upset. Then move to thank you. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for making it through. Thank you for caring. Thank you for fighting to become who I am now. And the last one is, I love you. I love you. Because you, and you can fill in the blank if you'd like to, because you deserve love all along, right? I like to repeat this several times. I'm sorry for blank. Please forgive me for blank. Thank you for blank. I love you. I love you. Repeat that over and over and over and over until you have a sense of catharsis, until you feel like you're able to actually feel what it is that you're saying. And then switch places. I want you to put yourself in your younger self's shoes and imagine they're looking at the current day you. And I want you to say back to them, I'm sorry for making that mistake, right? I'm sorry, fill in the blank. I'm sorry for making that mistake. Please forgive me for not knowing better. Thank you so much for getting as far as you have. Thank you for forgiving me. Thank you for having this conversation. I love you too, right? Again, we're following the whole Ho'oponopono script, which is, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you, I love you. Do this as many times as you need, because what you're really doing is you're closing a wound that's been opened for far too long. Remember, your past self endured every struggle, every hardship to bring you where you are today. They didn't fight through all of it just for you to look back with resentment. You are here because of their strength, their perseverance. Honor them for that. You are here because of their strength, their perseverance. Let me rephrase that. You are here because of your strength, your perseverance. Honor yourself for that. We talk about forgiveness like it's a single moment. Like you one day wake up and you're like, I forgive myself. And suddenly everything's fine. But I want you to know that forgiveness is not an event. It is a process. It's a practice. The hardest part, forgiving yourself doesn't change the past. Forgiving yourself doesn't undo any mistakes. It doesn't erase what happened. But what it does do is it frees you from the illusion that suffering is the only way forward. I'll explain this. The neuroscience of holding on to pain. Your brain is wired for survival. It's not wired for happiness. It clings on to pain because pain is a warning. It's a lesson. It doesn't want you to forget. Studies on self-compassion show that when we refuse to forgive ourselves, our brain is actually reinforcing the same neural pathways over and over and over again. You look into neuroplasticity, you're making those pathways stronger. Because the more you replay the mistake in your head, the more your brain carves it into your identity. It's not just something that happened. It becomes who you are. Because after long enough, your pain starts to feel kind of like a debt, like a price you have to keep paying in order to be good. And if you let it go, then it feels like you're letting yourself off the hook. But that's not how it works. Truth is, holding on to pain does not make you more moral. It just makes you miserable. Punishing yourself doesn't erase what happened. It makes sure that you never grow past it. In Buddhism, there is a story about a man who was shot with an arrow, but instead of pulling it out, he spends his time asking, who shot this arrow? Why did they do it? What is this arrow made of? Is it made of wood? What kind of wood? What kind of feathers? And while he's asking these questions, he's still bleeding. This is kind of how we treat our past mistakes. We analyze them, we pick them apart, we look for reasons, for justice, for meaning. All the while, we are still bleeding. Here's the thing. The past is already gone. And every second that you spend punishing yourself for it, you are living in a reality that no longer exists. Buddhism teaches impermanence, the idea that nothing's fixed, not even you. You are not the same person who made that mistake, right? The you of today is different from the you of yesterday, and the you of tomorrow will be different from the you of today. We are constantly changing, constantly evolving. Not a whole lot of things are permanent. So why do you keep treating yourself like you're stuck in that moment? Why are you carrying that burden that was meant to be set down a long time ago? Here's what you need to understand. Forgiving yourself, again, it doesn't mean forgetting. It just means transforming. It means taking lessons without keeping the pain. It means choosing to evolve rather than let the past define you. I don't want you to think that there's only two choices, which is like hold on to guilt forever or pretend that it never happened. The third option is integration, because real forgiveness doesn't mean erasing the past. It means using the past. It means saying the mistake is part of my story, but it isn't my story. The goal is not to go back in time and fix it. The goal is to make peace with the fact that you can't go back and fix it. And then you become the kind of person that doesn't make that same mistake again. That's the issue with shame, is that you make a mistake and then you shame yourself for it. And because you're shaming yourself for it, you start seeing yourself as the type of person who makes that mistake. So you make it again. And then you shame yourself worse for it. And then you start, it becomes part of the identity. Does that make sense? So the goal is to become the kind of person who doesn't make that same mistake. That's what the purpose of self-forgiveness is, right? That's how you truly let go. Not by forgetting, but by growing into someone new. So I'll leave you with this. If you let go of the shame and you truly forgave yourself, who would you be? Because maybe that's the real reason you haven't let go. Not because you can't, but because you don't know who you'd be without that shame. Because the pain has been with you so long, it almost feels like it's who you are. Maybe it's a friend, but it's not your friend, and it's not who you are. It's not your home, it's not you. So maybe it's time to let it go. Not because the past didn't matter, but because your future does matter. Now take a deep breath and let it go. You're awesome.